One of the huge issues with all of the projectors that I've been covering recently is they don't have Netflix pre-installed, or if you can install it, you're stuck in standard definition, which, let's face it, looks terrible. Even the super expensive $2,000 plus 4K ultra short throw projectors simply aren't Netflix certified. But this model here is. This, in fact, is the world's first 800 ANSI lumen Linux operating system projector that is Netflix certified. So that means it's going to be running at 1080p 60, which is what this supports. It's an LCD projector. The unit, the lens here, is fully sealed, and it does have a lifetime of up to 30,000 hours. It also has Dolby audio with two 5-watt speakers, which pump out a reasonable amount of bass and don't sound bad for the size of them. And because the operating system is Linux, there's really no bloatware. It's cut down, it's lightweight. We've got Amazon Prime Video, Netflix as mentioned, YouTube, an app store, your favorite apps, and absolutely no lag in the UI. It runs really well. Included in the box, you'll find our power supply. It is 120 watts, and so far I've seen the projector at the wall only using around about 99 watts. Power cable and the remote. Now the remote does take two AAA batteries, but they are not included, so you have to supply those, of course. And here we've got shortcuts. So as I mentioned at the start, it comes pre-installed with Netflix, which is certified. It runs in the full HD. And we've got YouTube shortcut button there, Amazon Prime Video, open browser, and your typical controls here. Now, it's not running Android TV, it is Linux, but the setup is similar there. You can see the back, home, exit, directional keypad there, okay. We've got our sources, even dedicated button there for HDMI, mute, volume, and focus right there. The build of this projector is quite good. There are no sharp edges, the plastics don't look cheap, and we've got here an accent you can see a little bit of just around the lens here. Now, this lens is fully sealed, rated the LCD, the bulbs in there up to 30,000 hours, and we have a maximum output of 800 ANSI lumens. So it can project from 50 inches to a huge 150 inches. And here you can see there are some sensors. So there's a little camera here too. So that is used for the autofocus, the feature that this does have too as well. There is keystone correction. So this here is a vent. It blows air, hot air out of that. So all of these projectors do have the active cooling, of course. And within this, we've got two 5-watt speakers. They are Dolby audio speakers, and later on, I will give you a sample of what they do sound like. This is the intake right here. So there's a fan just behind this. So that is where the fresh air is sucked in, and then the warm air is expelled out the front of it that I just showed you before. Dolby audio branding here, and the two speakers are located either side at the back. We've got our infrared for the remote, a USB 2 port, HDMI. Now this will accept 4K, so you can have a 4K input going into this, but it will be scaling it down to 1080p because it's only a full HD projector here, of course. So we've got a headphone jack there, and then the power in. Nothing on both of the sides, just our branding here. Mounting point there, so if you wanted to use one of those projector tripods or another tripod setup, this is a standard thread size there, you're able to do so, which is good. And then 4 solid rubber feet on the bottom. Then finally, our power button here at the top with a red status LED around it. Okay, so let's take a look at the menu system here. It's running Linux, so it's not your typical Android TV, which can be a bit bloated, heavy, it has advertisements in it, and I don't really like it that much. I mean, it's okay, it does the job, but this I actually do like. I'm quite fond of it. It's basic, it's straightforward. We've got an app store. I've got Netflix already there pre-installed, which is what I'll be running on this, Amazon Prime Video, and I have it already all set up, all of that now, which only took a couple of minutes to do so. It's very easy. Now, I wanted to point out here that the projector is approximately 250 centimeters away from my white matte painted wall. I'm using a different wall this time, which is more or less perfectly flat, this one. A lot better than the previous walls that I have used. Any distortion you see in the image right now is maybe due to the ultra-wide lens that I'm using to record this to fit everything in the shot. It's 16 millimeters. So there could be on the edges a little bit of distortion. Trust me, it's not the projector. The projector's image is perfectly rectangular. So of course we are looking at 800 ANSI lumens, and it is definitely not an ultra short throw projector with a 250 centimeter gap that I've got between the projector, which is on a desk, and then my wall. Now I'm projecting an image which is, according to my measurements, almost 82 inches. You can go from 50 up to 150 inches. But so far, I mean, for the space I have, this is good, and it looks relatively sharp for 1080p. So the options we do get, there's a menu at the top. So we have our input sources there. So HDMI, home, or USB. We've got the settings menu, so I'll quickly run through that. So setup is what you go through at the beginning. I won't run that there. Picture mode, there's a lot of different options in here. So you can see right now I'm using custom because I have the brightness set at 100%. So we can see what it is like running at its maximum right here. For the purposes of this video, of course, you've got cinema, sport, vivid, high bright, standard, which I believe was the default there, and then back to my custom setting that I'm using. So the menus, all of this is very quick. That's what I love about this. It doesn't have that delay or any lag that you would get sometimes with Android TV, even running with quad cores. Audio options here, so we've got the Dolby audio, those two 5-watt speakers. I'll give you later on a sample, but you can adjust if you wanted to, the bass, the treble, turn on a virtual surround sound. There are some sound equalizer presets right here, you can see. So we've got user, standard, vivid, sport. Okay, that's all pretty standard in there. The output mode here, so I've just left that on auto there for digital, and dialogue enhancement and TTS there if you wanted to change any of that. So the projection settings, I'm using it on a table, so that's why I've got it set up as that. You can see that you go and select the others. It's going to invert the image. If you happen to have it set, of course, upside down from a wall mount that some people may be doing, because you've got that option there with the thread on it, so it could be mounted. Network settings, pretty obvious. Keystone, so there is automatic keystone correction. So if you move the projector, it will automatically run this, and when it starts up, it will automatically by default run it, but you can go to advanced and you can disable that if you wanted to do so. So 4 points correction, you can change that manually. Let's just run this. Auto, actually no, I leave that, but I will show you the zoom. So zoom, if you needed this option, imagine where you've got it set up, it's a little too large, the image. You've got furniture either side, or your wall, it's touching the top of your ceiling or something. So you can just zoom it back, of course, if you wanted to do so. But for image quality, the best thing to do is to actually just bring the projector itself closer, is a lot better. Focus, already gone into that, sorry. No, I haven't. This is autofocus. It was keystone before, and it will do this automatically. You see, it only takes a few seconds, and it tends to get a pretty good focus, but it's looking more at the center of the image. So you've got manual focus. You can run this with the remote as well, and I'm just going to tweak that to where, according to my eyes, looks about the best, which is right there. Okay. So that's the settings. Bluetooth, it's pretty obvious there, and about, that's just about the Netflix versions. License, okay, all really straightforward. So this menu system, very quick. Those are the pre-installed applications. If you run this app here, you got the screencast and home share option. Good to see that's on board. And Netflix, so just get into that. Comes up really quick. And what I do like about it, it is very quick. I've connected up to Wi-Fi 5, so you can either run 2.4G or 5, which is fine for projectors. And everything here, very, very quick. I'm noticing no lags. There's none of these thumbnail images are taking a long time to load in. There's none of that, which I sometimes see on older TVs or Android TV boxes. No, performance is excellent. Very good, as you can see. So let's have a look at our image quality. To start out, I wanted to focus a little bit more on the blacks. So with this example here, this is an Amazon Prime video, which, by the way, is working very quick as well. Just like Netflix, I'm not seeing really any noticeable lag. It does the initial load in, of course, of all the thumbnails, and that just took about a second. Was there a second or so? You see them all popping up, and that's it. Everything's in there, and there is no slowdown going through this menu. the controller, the remote should I say, is responsive here. So jumping into The Expanse, this is a good way to check out those blacks because it's a sci-fi series that is very dark most of the time. And even that loading image there, it's looking pretty good. So I'll show you just a few seconds of this for fair use. I can't show you too much because I'll get hit with a copyright strike, of course. But look at the blacks. What I do like, what I'm seeing here is there's no noise. There's no horrible grain to the blacks, which I sometimes see with some of the LCD projectors. But it doesn't seem to be happening here at all. Like right now when it loads in, looking good. And now, too, it's quite contrasty, very deep blacks around the outside for an LCD projector. It really does not look too bad. So that's enough of just showing that. You'll see when that loads in again, that it looks fairly decent. Now, of course, you're not going to get super dark blacks that you would expect out of, say, an OLED screen. It's never going to be possible with a projector like this, but projecting onto a white wall even right now, I find this to be acceptable. It's actually quite a good quality what I'm seeing out of this projector for LCD. Moving over now to some more colorful images. So this is through the YouTube app and I'm playing a 4K clip, but the app will only let you play at 1080p 60, which is the maximum it can do anyway, so it's just being downscaled. So these brighter images, they are looking very good. I mean, look at that, those colors, the sharpness, the detail for full HD for an LCD projector. It's actually looking really good. So uniformed colors, I'm not really seeing any strange patchiness or any areas of concern with this image quality. I think it looks really good. Now the YouTube app, what about its performance too? This is good. Like I'll just quickly go into another test image right here. I'll load it up very quickly. Just this one here with the cat. Okay, adverts. I knew that was going to happen, but it loads in so quick. Everything seems to be very fast. I'll just try this one. See how quickly, look at that, it's almost instantaneous and how quick that loads in. And oh, that image quality is great for this type of projector. One last image quality test, and that is how does this projector fare with its 800 ANSI lumens if you happen to use it in a room with, for example, some sunlight coming in, you've got an ambient light source. Well, like all projectors, you really need to be in a pitch black room to get the absolute best quality. In fact, that's a must. So if you did happen to have a bit of light coming in, I'm just going to turn on a light now that is approximately 80 watts. You can see the effect it does have on the screen. That, of course, it is now going to be a little bit harder to make out everything, and the image quality looks nowhere near as good, which will happen to any projector that has this kind of ambient light source at the moment. So if you've got some blinds open, you really want to close those. How does a projector fare then for gaming? Of course, it's got that HDMI port on it, and you can see that the response time is good. So if I move to the left and the right there, the camera, it's really just fine there. I don't notice any noticeable delay there with input lag. Response time seems to be okay for this kind of thing. So this is just casual gaming here at 1080p 60 FPS, 60 frames per second, and it's fine for that. Ideal for this kind of use, just a little bit of light casual gaming. Onto the sound now. So we have the Dolby audio here, those 2.5 watt little speakers inside. They're not bad considering the size of it, considering they are inbuilt speakers that do come with this projector. They put out reasonable amount of bass. The volume is okay. They're not super loud, but for built-in speakers, I think they're adequate enough. Of course, if you want better, you'd use external setup like for example, a 2.1 setup where you've got your speakers, you've got a sub dedicated to that if you need it a lot louder. So here is a sample at 100% volume of these speakers. Then our fan noise. All of these projectors, they are fan cooled. They need to cool down the internals, otherwise it would overheat, it would burn out. So the fan is located at the back here, sucks in the fresh air, pushes it out towards the front. This sample is what it's going to typically sound like. Final verdict is, the big draw card, of course, is it's got the Netflix support straight out of the box, which literally none of the projectors that I've been covering have. And that is really disappointing that they just don't have it. You get standard definition if you can install the Netflix application, but you don't need to worry about that at all because straight out of the box, it's in full HD. So the image quality samples that I showed you, I was projecting at a distance of around about 250 centimeters onto the wall behind me at approximately 82, slightly under that, inches. And the image quality, I think for LCD, looking very good. So I do like the colors I'm seeing, the details there for 1080p seem very good. And the best part is I'm not getting all that horrible, terrible noise and grain I do see with other LCD projectors, and I've covered in the past, which really puts me off when you do see, for example, a TV series like The Expanse, sci-fi with a lot of black images and it's just crawling with noise. Not happening with this projector at all. So that's a great area that I'm really happy to say that they've done a good job with that, with the blacks, the way they are projected and displayed. So we do have those two built-in 5-watt speakers. They're not actually too bad for 5 watts. They've got a bit of bass to them. And of course, if you want more powerful, then connect up an external audio source, which a lot of people will be doing too with that. So the UI, another positive, very fast, quick and snappy. You've got Amazon Prime Video too as well, YouTube, all of it just loaded and cached in really quick. And what did surprise me was the YouTube performance. It's just loading in 1080p, 60 Hz max is what it supports with this LCD projector, of course, but it's very quick. There was no little loading bar, no delays or anything. Bam, as soon as you click on the video, it was just starting to play back, which is good. The same with Amazon Prime Video. You load it up, okay, it does the initial little cache. There was no delays at all with it. And when you go straight into the movies, you really see the little spinning icon there. It's just going straight away. So that's good to see. The UI performance is excellent, really fast. And I find it to be just less bloated and cluttered than Android TV, which is also, of course, Linux-based, but this is just more lightweight and a lot quicker there. So all up, I think it's a good, decent projector there. For those of you that are out in the market looking for something that's Netflix certified, so just turn it on, log in with your credentials there, away you go with Netflix, it works, then it's recommended here from me. And for the price tag, I think with the image quality, the 800 ANSI lumens, it is great.